Hello? What's up, dudes? We're here. We're live with another build guide, and this build guide is a little different. Technically, this is a no divine build. I did not trade or invest even close to a divine for this build, and I'm able to do T15 maps, as you'll see in a little bit. I know people want me to see me show like the gameplay first, but I think I'm just gonna keep this format, show you guys the juicy meat of the build, and then you can see the gameplay at the end. So let's just go ahead and go over my gear. My gear, I have this expert crossbow, +7 and 104 physical damage. I traded 20 exalted for this. Not too bad. Pretty good. And then we got these rings that I made myself. So these cost me nothing. I picked them up off the ground and then threw some exalteds in them. And basically cost me like 4 exalted to make this thing, and then a Val Orb. So, but it turned out pretty good. I got the fire damage on there, I got the cold damage and the dexterity and the lightning res, which I need the res more than pretty much anything. But the fire damage is pretty good. I was running more cold damage on my build to freeze enemies faster, but we just went for max damage this time, so that's why I haven't changed the ring too much. It does have a lot of fire damage. Alright, and then our helmet. We have a lot of evasion on this helmet. I want to switch to a hybrid-based helmet, but this is working good enough for now. It's keeping my evasion high enough, so most things don't really hit me. And then the chaos res and the dexterity is really nice on this. I wish it rolled higher on the evasion, but I mean, that's a lot. Almost 800 on a helmet. That's huge. Huge. Alright, let's go over my amulet. We have this intelligence amulet with fire res and some rarity and a little bit of life and a little bit of evasion rating. And I did have to put some of the, I forgot what they were. I had to boost the intelligence rating on it to be able to use a skill that I'll go over in a little bit. So that's just there just for the intelligence basically, and the res, and the rarity is just a bonus. My friend had this laying around his stash. He said he didn't use it anymore, so he gave it to me since he upgraded, and I needed intelligence on this slot more than anything, so it helped a lot. Alright, and then this is our second ring here. I made this myself as well. It has 16 all res, 30 intelligence, 16 strength, and 24 fire damage, which is the bread and butter of the ring. I get that fire damage on there with the res. And the stats help wear gear and use skills. My boots, I plan on changing very soon. I don't want armor evasion rating boots. I want evasion rating energy shield boots. But it's hard to replace the 29 dexterity and the chaos res. Yeah, and the rarity. I mean, it's a 12%, it's not much, but whatever. It works. They work pretty good. I run pretty fast these things. 30% run walk. Not bad. We have this belt mainly just for the dual res and the strength. I don't really care about the slots too much, really. I'm not really into the whole small charm meta of the game. I think small charm should be passively active. They shouldn't be activated on hit or kill. I think that's kind of a waste of time, but whatever. And then we got these gloves that I just made, like, oh no, I made ones that weren't as good, sorry. I needed like 5 more dexterity in this slot to be able to wear this new bow I got. So I spent 10 exalted on this. So totally, I spent maybe 20 here, 10 here, 4 here, about 4 here, about 4 here, and then, oh, the armor. I didn't even go over the armor. This is probably the most expensive piece on the whole build. I did not trade for this. I crafted this. And the way I crafted this was just saving a bunch of expert wax jackets, double bluing them and throwing a regal on them, and if it didn't roll good, I would throw it in the stash, and when I got 3, I would go and reforge them until I got something good, and then blam. It was like 90% evasion rating when I first started throwing exalteds in it, and it went up to 123, so I'm happy with it. The lightning res is just an extra added little touch. It helps a lot. I mean, I can't get max res yet, but whatever. And the 26 life regen is really nice. I don't have any other life regen source on this build, but it does help a lot. Alright, so there's the gear. We got some decent potions here. We got the golden charm. Now let's go over to skills. Skills, I only have 1 4 slot. What? Yeah, and I'm able to do T15s. That's true. Here's what we use on our explosive grenades. I know people probably already have better options. This is just what I fell down with. I haven't researched. I don't look up other people's builds. This is all just me reading the skills and then putting them together. So my explosive grenade, it's quality 20, one of the only ones I think. And then we got payload, ingenuity, scatter shot, and concentrate effect, just to crank out a little bit more damage with this thing. I don't really care about AoE too much because I shoot the grenades right at their feet and make the enemies walk over the grenades. So don't really need AoE that much because there's like 5 grenades. So, and then we got emergency reload. That's just to help. I have permafrost bolts, so it helps the permafrost bolts when I'm fighting bosses. I'll throw that on every now and then just to get that extra boost to the cold damage to freeze them faster. But we got persistence, and we got premeditation, and we got inspiration on it. So it's pretty nice. Permafrost bolts is our main defensive ability. We keep enemies at bay with this. Freeze a lot of enemies really easy. We got increased reload speed so I can shoot faster with it. More freeze buildup, and extra cold damage. Very nice. Cluster grenade, just a little extra spice on the ground. The main beef grenades are the exploding grenades and the oil grenades. We'll get to that in a second, but these are probably the 3rd best I have because they do fire damage as well, and they get boosted by fire infusion, elemental focus, and immolate, just to get the extra fire damage boost out of it. Gas grenades are kind of just whenever I feel like throwing them. I usually will start out like an essence by throwing gas grenades at the ground because they stay longer. It's pretty nice. Bursting plague, deadly poison, and magnified effect. Flash grenades is really another good defensive technique that keeps enemies from being able to hit me as easy, and I can stun enemies with this too, so I have overpower. Ruthless and lacerate, just to get bleeding on them too with it. More stun buildup. I eventually want to switch to an electricity-based shot like this. I want to change that to electricity and more focused on shock, because in the passive tree, I'll show you, there's a lot of shock buildup in the passive tree, and there's like 0 freeze buildup. So I'm gonna have to switch to this very soon. Lightning infusion, primal armament, and I can't talk. Long fuse, just to to make it last longer and shock more, right? It does quite a bit of damage actually. And then we got the oil grenades, which is what I shoot second. No, I shoot this first. Sorry, I'll shoot this first. It slows the enemies down. All right. We have strip away, encumbrance, and blind. So we blind them and we slow them down with this, and then it magnifies the slow magnitude, and also magnifies the fire damage we do to them, because it 20% resistance lowered and fire exposure is very nice. And then Ghost Dance. This is probably like our best defensive ability, I would say, because if you guys know about Ghost Dance, it gives you Ghost Shroud. The more you stand around, it equals up to 5% of your evasion. So basically, I have to take like, I think 1,300 damage in order to even have this dent my health pool. So, right, that's pretty nice. All right, let's go over the passive tree. I went with Witchhunter because I wasn't gonna be a gem stacking gem legionnaire. I wanted to be, and I didn't want to be a herald user either. I wanted to be pure grenades with the holy hand grenade of Antioch, and that's what I call the build anyways. But we're just gonna call it the holy hand grenade build. All the OGs know, you know where that background's from on the front. It's a Monty Python reference. So we went with Judge, Jury, and Execution to get Decimating Strike, and Culling Strike with Pitless Killer, just to get that extra kill power, right? And then we went with No Mercy and Witchbane, so that way when we're fighting bosses or fighting something that takes a while to kill, we can get 30% more damage cranked out and lower their cooldown ability as well. And I increased my cooldown recovery, which is nice. I was gonna go to Obsessive Rituals, but boy, oh boy, that negative 50% evasion rating is just brutal. No matter how much percent you put into it, you're still gonna cut it in half. So, I mean, you can't make up for the negative 50. It's horrible. And this honestly isn't enough to save you in a fighting situation. So here's my build. I mainly went with max fire damage, max grenade damage, and elemental damage, right? Unfortunately, projectile boosting stuff doesn't seem to work for grenades, even though their grenade skill says they're a projectile. It's really weird, so we went with max evasion build and max fire and grenade damage and reload speed. Probably gonna finish this little path off here and maybe get some electrocution build up right here or here, right? So we'll trim down on maybe something like elemental damage. I don't know. We'll have to do some testing to figure it out. But I want to eventually start working in some electrocution build up in here. Lightning damage into the build. We're going to switch over from the permafrost to I forgot what the lightning based same bolt attack. I can't remember what it's called. That's it. That's basically the build. Let's go ahead and play the T15 map. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. Alright, so we got some music going. You see here, I have to like stay kind of far away and just blast a bunch of grenades at their feet. It's pretty much the only way I could run this build is you have to like play defensively. So you shoot a lot of grenades at your feet and try to lure the enemy into the grenades. Otherwise, you can be running away like a little chicken the whole time. And no one likes a chicken, alright? I mean, chickens are delicious, but no one likes a chicken on their team. So you'll see I'll start with the oil grenades, and I'll do the regular grenades, and then the clusters to finish them off. Sometimes if I don't have any other grenades, I'll throw those down too, just to get a little bit extra damage, because the cooldown is a little slow, and the grenades take a while to explode. So you'll see me dancing around, waiting for them to explode, and just waiting for mana to fill back up too. This build does have a little bit of a mana issue. If you could get more mana regen on this build, I would highly suggest it. I know people are probably using other means to get mana. I think you can get like mana leech on hit and stuff like that too. I don't have any of that fancy stuff. This is a barely scraping by build. Barely scraping by. But hey, it works, right? And I don't get one shot about random stuff. Thank goodness, thanks to all that evasion. But I mean, if it's like some elemental damage that, yeah, cold. These little cold guys on the map. Oh my gosh, they're so mean. They know exactly when to run away from the grenades and exactly when to pop out with that freeze attack. It's so crazy. It's so crazy, man. It's crazy. But yeah, here we go. Yeah, trying to stay back from these guys here with the boom, boom, booms. Not too bad here. I think we're rolling at level 89 on the character. As you see, my FPS is horrible, but I'm waiting for the new 5 series to drop, like everybody else. And I'm gonna get a new computer and then turn my old computer into the streaming rig, so that way I can have HDR active. Yeah. Hoping my monitor is good enough to make it look good. But yeah, this build isn't super fast. I don't zoom through stuff. I have to wait on the grenades to blow up, but I can kill huge packs. I've been thinking about adding like the totem thing in or something like that to keep enemies at bay. You'll see me like shooting my grenades at the wall and luring enemies into the spot where the grenades are a lot. That's pretty much the meta. I learned that meta from playing Apex Legends. You guys ever played Apex? You know how crucial grenades are in that game. And if somebody's pushing you, like trying to get to the door, you throw a grenade at the door and then run away from it, and they open it up and boom! Take a grenade to the face, and then you're just like, bop, bop, got him, bop, bop, got him. But yeah, that's pretty much how it goes down, though. It's a lot of shooting and waiting, but it's pretty powerful. I wouldn't say it's as fast as the Witch, but it definitely isn't as gear dependent. As you see, I'm able to do T15 map. I mean, granted, this is a tower, right? You don't get rushed from all angles, but still, it is a T15 map. I completed the whole thing. I've been running T15 maps like 4 or 5 days now. I have been doing it with some groups, so I know I can kill packs in a full partied T15. I can kill monsters. I can kill monsters maps. I can kill monsters in a T15 map with a full party. So that means the monsters are super strong. No, so I had a feeling I could do T15. This is the only time I actually tried to do a T15 solo. I was like, you know, I wonder if I can do that yet, because I was sitting there just kicking ass. You know, we were getting some good experience when we were staying alive. Playing with the minion build, just kind of just like, just pray when you run into a pack that you don't die. Because it's like a brick wall of lag sometimes. It's crazy. I hear even people with 4090s are complaining about minion builds in this game. It's kind of ridiculous. But yeah, the freeze works really well too. As you see, I shatter enemies, and I can, if they get too close, I can just like, I think it takes just two shots with that, and I can freeze them. And then the coal works really good with it too. I use the permafrost bolts to activate coal a lot. I don't have to wait on the grenades to blow up. This was a pretty easy map though. It was only a 2 blue and a regal. I didn't exalt it. I didn't val it. I didn't want to make it the hardest thing in the world for me. It's basically just like a normal T15 here. No +1. You guys saw my witch build. My witch was actually doing a T15 that was corrupted, and it was a +1. So technically, it was not a T15. That was T16. So it was a juicy T16 as well. You guys watching that video. So this character, I'm probably gonna start investing into it more now that I have the no divine quote unquote video completed, and then I know that armor's probably worth way more than 1 divine, but technically it didn't cost me not even close to a divine. I made it myself. And you guys can too. Just start collecting all the expert bases you see on the ground. Throw 2 blues at them. Throw a regal. And if it's not good, reforge. Reforge is your friend. I wasn't a fan of it at first, but it's starting to grow on me. Just gotta have stash space. Here I am, running from this guy's volatile plants. I don't want to get touched by him. I don't want to get touched, even though I have nearly max chaos res. Nearly max. Could use a little bit more. Could use just a little bit more. But also, playing through the story mode as the grenade work was night and day. Like, it was like 70% easier, I would say, than playing as my witch through the story mode. I did pick literally the most non-meta witch build, which was chaos damage over time, and that took forever to beat bosses. Oh my gosh, it was like pulling teeth from a crocodile. But here we go. That's the oil potion, or the oil potion. Oh, oil potions. I'm playing Diablo 2 too much. The oil grenades on the ground there that are causing that ignite to spread. And here we go. That's the end of the map. GG, we did it. Now we did go up and finish the rest of this after, but just to show you guys that we can actually do it. It is possible. We could do it. And just to show you the reses. These were the reses. So, not maxed out in the slightest. My stats could be better. My health, super low. Shield, super low. But the evasion is the saving grace and the dodge roll. But yeah, that's it for the video, guys. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. By the way, I did make that instrumental. I did. Thanks for watching. Later.